there, everyone. I'm Don Forster, Professor Goway, and welcome to the Industry Insiders webinar series. Hear from expert guests, including conservationists, explorers, tourism professionals, and everyday globetrotters to discover fascinating stories in the world of travel and be inspired to travel far and to travel often. Inspire, motivate, educate. Goway Pro Industry Webinars. Now, today I'd like to welcome Linda Ho, who is the Senior Manager of Trade Marketing based in the US. Are you actually based in the US?
Yes, I'm based in New York.
In New York. Okay, then. And alongside her is Clark Hung, also Assistant Marketing Manager for the Canadian market. And they're here today to talk about Hong Kong. That's what they're marketing with us today and marketing in general. So we always like to get to know our guests. So before we get into the questions, Linda, you just want to give us a bit of a background on who you are and how you came to represent Hong Kong, and then we'll pass the same question on to Clark.
Good. Nice meeting you, everyone, and thank you, Don, for organizing this interesting session. I'm Linda. I'm based in New York, but I was born and raised in Hong Kong long time ago, so I'm not going to reveal the secret. And I come to the U.S. In the 80s, and then I settled in L.A., and then eventually I come to New York, and that is when I joined the Hong Kong Tourism Board. I've been here, this is my 25th year with the Hong Kong Tourism Board. So my role is really to focus on the travel trade. Happy to work with wonderful partners like Goway. They are the best. So I think that's about it for me, and I'll hand it over to Clark.
Thank you, Linda. So nice to meet you all. I'm Clark, and I was born and raised in Hong Kong. I used to work for the Hong Kong Tourism Board in the head office in Hong Kong after I graduated from university. And I came to Toronto like 2 years ago. And earlier this year, I rejoined the Hong Kong Tourism Board in Toronto. And I'm happy to sell in Hong Kong to offer you. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you both very much for that. So obviously some very first-hand knowledge of the destination we're talking about, Hong Kong today. So let's start with a basic one. Where is Hong Kong? Let's go with Linda on this one. Where is Hong Kong, Linda?
Okay, Hong Kong is the official name for Hong Kong is Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. We are in the southern part of China. We border Guangdong in the north, and then surrounded by the South China Sea all over. So we are also settled in the Pearl River Delta, a very rich area, and we are also part of the Greater Bay Area, which is really with great growth potential for economics, finance, and also tourism. So do I cover it all, Clark?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. And as I say, a map would have gone up while Linda was talking about that for geographical reference as well. So one of our themes today is talk about, I guess, old Hong Kong and the newer Hong Kong, which sort of relates to the millennials, which would be Linda and myself, and the Gen Zs and other gens and all the others. I lose track of how many there are now, but that would be sort of Clark talking about it from the younger person's perspective. So we will be sort of hitting the old and the new aspect of it as we discuss things today. But a age-old question, apart from where is Hong Kong, I'll throw this one at Clark. Clark, how do you get to Hong Kong from the US and or Canada?
So basically, there are many direct flights from the North America to Hong Kong. So there's about over 100 weekly flights from North America to Hong Kong as of July.
Are they direct?
Yeah, they're all direct flights.
Okay.
And from Canada, usually we buy Cathay Pacific or Air Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So they add up together with pretty much 35 weekly flights. And if you are departing from the States, so we also have Cathay Pacific and United Airways. So the add up will be like 76 weekly flights in total from the States.
Can I add on to it?
Okay.
For the
Yeah, of course.
US, we have actually 5 gateways going from US to Hong Kong. On the east part is Boston, New York JFK, and Chicago, and then on the west coast is LA and San Francisco. Both gateways are served by UA and Cathay Pacific.
Okay. And the airport, what's the main airport in
Clark?
Hong Kong?
Oh, there's only one airport in Hong Kong, will be the Hong Kong International Airport. So the code HKG.
Okay. That's what I was getting at, HKG. Now, talking old and new, when I flew into Hong Kong forever ago, at the time it was one of the most famous airports to fly into. It was one of the most dangerous airports to fly into because you literally flew in amongst the buildings. Now, I understand many years ago.
Your plane is diving straight for a mountain when at 700 meters they turn off the autopilots. You scrape over the rooftops of the city, close enough to see inside people's homes. And just over 3 kilometers out from landing and 300 meters off the ground, the pilot ignores their instruments, eyeballs a 47-degree turn, and touches down on a slither of runway surrounded by water on 3 sides. A heart attack averted, the plane door opens and you step out onto the asphalt of the legendary Kai Tak International Airport, Hong Kong.
That all changed and a new airport was built, which also segues to, I'm just looking at a map as I'm talking here. Hong Kong itself is attached to the Chinese mainland, but there's also a couple of islands. So can one of you just explain the geographic setup of Hong Kong and where the airport is in relation to where everything else is, please?
Hong Kong International Airport is really the hub for Asia, right? And then geographically, we're connected to China, and we have over 260 islands in Hong Kong. And is not everyone, every island is available for visit, but most of them, a lot of them, they are connected by ferries. And for the outdoors, we talk about the great outdoor because usually when we talk about Hong Kong, we talk about the Hong Kong Island, the Kowloon Peninsula, which is in the north across the Victoria Harbour from the Hong Kong Island. So Hong Kong Island is in the south, and then across the Victoria Harbour to the north is the Kowloon Peninsula. And then further up, we have the New Territory. So this is sort of like a suburb we are used to call it here in the US and in Canada. And then the Kai Tak the airport, Hong Kong International Airport, is located in Lantau Island. It's one of the largest islands in Hong Kong. So you can get to the town by Airport Express link, which is very efficient. It takes about 30 minutes to go to town. Shorter distance to Kowloon and about 5 minutes more to Hong Kong Island. And then you can take a taxi or hotel shuttle to your hotel. So and all the transportation, and I will leave it to Clark to talk about the various transportation to get around town. Over to you.
Okay, and just before Clark jumps in, I'm looking at a map as we're talking again, and I see that the new airport, it looks like it was purposely built on its own landmass. So it looks like an island unto itself.
That is on the Hong Kong Island. Not Hong Kong Island, the Lantau Island, sorry.
Yeah. Lantau Island, yeah. And then, as you mentioned, Linda, there's the expressway which runs into downtown Hong Kong. So that will segue nicely back to Clark. So what are the options? Now, Goway obviously will arrange, on request, a private transfer from the airport into the accommodation choice. We always recommend that, particularly on a first day arrival into a new country. Doesn't matter where it is, just convenience, ease. So you're not, battling taxis and wondering about whether you're getting ripped off or whatever. And that's it everywhere. That's not just, I'm referring that to Hong Kong. It's any country. So beyond the private transfer, which Goway can arrange for you, Clark, what are the other options if you want to be a bit more independent or to get into downtown Hong Kong?
So actually, it's very easy to get around in Hong Kong. Or if you're travel from the airport to downtown, you can take we have Airport Express line, which only takes around 35 minutes from airport to Hong Kong downtown in Central. And besides,
Is that a bus
it's a
or a
train.
train?
It's a train. Yeah,
Train,
and
okay.
then you can take a bus. The bus will take you to everywhere in Hong Kong, to the 18 districts in Hong Kong, everywhere. If you want to go to the downtown Hong Kong, for taking bus, it would take around 1 hour. Yeah, so the express line and the buses are the most common
the bus line.
transportation. Yeah.
Okay, so they're easy options as well, and of course, taxis and Ubers would be available. Yep. Now, Hong Kong was under British control for a while, so I would assume to this day still that signage on trains, buses, streets would be in English. And what? Okay, so you're both nodding yes to that part. What's the other language? Is it Chinese? Is it, again, I don't know. What's the other main dialect other than English in Hong Kong?
So for official language in Hong Kong would be Cantonese and English, but usually on the public transport you will see the signs or the announcement in 3 languages, which are English, Cantonese, and also Mandarin.
Mandarin, okay. Oh, that's good. And that would extend to most visited areas in and around Hong Kong, be it on the mainland and the islands, that English would be around. People would speak English if you were asking for directions, etc. So language is not a barrier when getting around Hong Kong, I guess is my point. Okay, wonderful. Now, again, it's part of the mainland China now. Under, I can't remember the exact title that Linda mentioned. It was rather long, but that just basically leads to: are there any entry requirements to visit Hong Kong, i.e., visas, and/or if there are none, and you want to go into China proper, is it easy to cross that border from Hong Kong into China mainland?
Yes, for the visa, I think both U.S. citizens and Canadians can go to Hong Kong without a visa for up to 90 days. But please remember, because a lot of your visitors might want to go to China onward outside of Hong Kong, so they need Chinese visa. So everybody goes to China does need a China visa.
Okay, so if someone arrived in Hong Kong and you don't need a visa, as Linda just mentioned, and then they decided they want to go to China there and then, can you get that visa in Hong Kong to go into China?
It all depends on how long they will be staying in Hong Kong. There is a visa called 144-hour visa that they can do in Hong Kong, but they have to enter through this enter and exit through the same port. Like if you're going to China, you go to Guangzhou, right? You enter into Guangzhou, and then you can tour around for within 144 hours, but you have to leave Guangzhou to go back to Hong Kong. And then you have to arrange it at the travel agency in Hong Kong, because there's a minimum of 2 people going on the trip together.
Okay. So it'd be better, obviously, if China is part of your overall travel plan in combination with Hong Kong to get all your visas done pre-travel versus getting it done in Hong Kong. Okay, no problems. This is going to be an obvious question, but we have to ask it. Growing up for me as an Australian, Hong Kong, again, back in the day, millennials day, was always viewed as a shopping destination. It was cheap. Duty-free back in the day actually meant something, not so much anymore. So Hong Kong, again, for Australians or for Southern Hemisphere people, was big to go shopping. That was, I guess, its biggest attraction at the time. Now, I know the territory has come a long way since then. So what are the big highlights to visit Hong Kong? Is it still shopping? Is that still part of it?
Clark, over to you.
Yes, as Hong Kong is a tax-free city, so I always found buying things in Hong Kong are cheaper than buying in other country.
Yeah.
And for me, because I grew up in Hong Kong Island, so I usually visit the Causeway Bay. There are like many shopping malls there, and I think you can spend a day there just shopping. Yeah, and besides of Causeway Bay, I also usually go to Central. So there is a mall called IFC. Yeah, there's a very good shopping mall as well. So how about you, Linda?
Okay.
Yeah, other than shopping, well, you can shop everywhere. Even in the subway station, they have different stores and then department store everywhere. And the good point is really tax free. But some tourists, they do want to go to the markets. They find it very interesting to just bargain and get the good stuff and a small gift to give it back to the gifts to their friends and family. One of them very exciting is the Temple Street Night Market. It used to just open up at night, but right now they gone through the renovation and a lot of new attractive things, food stores, and then of course those stores for shopping. That's just a fun place, all right. And then other than that, Hong Kong, I think we are beyond shopping already as a destination. We have so many more new offers. Young people like Clark, they will jump onto the nightlives. There are so many bars in Hong Kong, and we just announced that the 50 best bars in Asia. Hong Kong has taken the top three, taken three out of 10 in the top, and then the Bar Leone is the number one. So it's exciting, and anything to any recommendation where to go, a young guy?
For the bar, I personally favorite is the Ozone Bar. The Ozone Bar is located on the 118th floor. Yeah, so you can see the Hong Kong skyline over there if the weather is good. Yeah, but that's stunning, the view.
So the bar life and market life is obviously very vibrant, and I do remember the markets from way back when. Dining. Now, I have a nephew actually who has a restaurant in Hong Kong. I don't know the name of it, sorry. But I know that dining, be it local, as we just discussed with markets, and fine dining is very big in Hong Kong. Would either of you like to expand on those options as well?
Mm-hmm. Well, let me tell you my favorite. Of course, we all love fine dining, but because I'm coming from Hong Kong, and the smell and the taste of those traditional snacks really let me relive my childhood days. So dim sum is always the best, and there are so many good dim sum restaurants. Long King Hin at the Four Seasons Hotels has always been on top, getting a 3 Michelin star, so you won't go wrong there. But even some of the local restaurants, and you can have very good and creative dim sum. I cannot speak it about from the guys from Vancouver or Toronto, because they have killer dim sum as well, right?
Yeah, there's lots of dim sum around here, yeah.
But then going back, and I really like those snacks, like the Hong Kong milk tea is so special. And they said that it's so smooth. Why is it so smooth? Because in a long time ago, when they created this milk tea, and they don't have the filters like we have right now. Like a coffee, they have the filter. They don't have it. So how do they filter the tea? They use silk stocking. So it's guaranteed silky, smooth milk tea. So you have to go to Hong Kong and try this one. And other than that, it's just here and there. It's just when you go to Hong Kong, wander around the street, you will find something exciting, unexpected, and you will absolutely love it. And that is your adventure, food adventure. Now, this Clark would recommend some of the excellent culinary experiences or restaurants.
Yeah, so my personal favorite is dim sum. I know the dim sum are pretty good in Canada, but you will always taste the most authentic flavor in Hong Kong. So, and also the Chinese barbecue, like the char siu, which is the barbecue pork, and the roast duck are really good in Hong Kong, which I can't find any can compete with Hong Kong here. And just give you some general information. Like Hong Kong has a wide range of dining options for visitors. So from, like Linda said, from local street food, like we have egg waffle, which is well known worldwide, and to the high-end luxury and 3-star Michelin fine dining. And from local to international, Hong Kong has it all. And in total, we have about like 17,000 restaurants in Hong Kong. So imagine if you want to try every meal, like 3 meals a day, and you will take more than 15 years to try each restaurant once.
Well, there you go. So,
no wonder Don asked us about the long stay in Hong Kong. He's planning to just try out all the restaurants. While we're on
I'm
the
coming
food,
to eat and eat and eat.
Yeah, while on the food, I can't help but tell you the story. We all love dim sum, right? But do you know what does dim sum literally mean?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. How about Clark?
No,
Even Clark doesn't know?
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dim is made up of two Chinese words. Dim means touch. Dim is touch.
Okay.
Sum is your heart. So now, put it together. Dim sum is the food that touches your heart before it goes to your stomach. Very romantic.
Lovely. Yes. Okay, if we learn nothing else today, I think that was worth the effort. Dim sum, food that touches your heart.
Yes.
I just want to jump in on something. As Linda was chatting, she mentioned sort of about the food and the markets walking around. So for either of you, I would assume that Hong Kong is a very safe city to explore independently, be it on foot or bike or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Hong Kong is. There's really no major crimes in Hong Kong. We are lucky, and of course, like everywhere we go, even local, you need to be aware of the environment. Beware of petty crimes, and if you're going to the crowded area, just be very careful with your pocketbooks and things like that. So small things might happen, but really overall is a very, very safe city.
Yeah, and that's pretty much standard for most of the cities that Goway will visit. You know, take those common sense precautions when you travel, because you will stand out as a traveller no matter what country you are in. One thing I haven't asked is, from a cultural point of view, what is the main religion in Hong Kong?
It's quite a mix. I would say most of them, because there's still over 90% of the people are Chinese. So a lot of them, the older generation, like my mom, they are Buddhists. So we have a lot of temples and monasteries and things like that all over the city, and even in the new territories as well. But when we're growing up, more and more people are exposed to different religion, and like Christianity nowadays actually is a lot of Muslim coming to Hong Kong as well. Okay. So it's very diverse even in terms of the religions.
Okay, so people will have an opportunity to go and visit, as you mentioned, temples, etc., dotted
and
around,
the mosques and things like that.
And mosques as well. Okay, and if they want to partake in their own religion, that would be an option as well. I'm going to sort of bounce around a bit here. Some of the things I remember from my visit and things that are iconic when you look at any imagery of Hong Kong well, to me, there are two things. There's what I know is the Chinese junks, which are the ships that sail the harbours. I would assume that people can do a cruise, be it like a dinner cruise on a junk, or can you do something really traditional and get on a working junk in the harbours?
We have various type of cruises, ferries, and junks in Hong Kong. So the tourists have a lot of choices.
Okay.
Right, but we also elevated ourselves. It's not only junk that sails in the harbor of the Star Ferry. We have ocean cruise lines in Hong Kong as well. For 2024, the last count is we have 155 ship calls. International.
How many, sorry?
155.
155
ship calls in Hong Kong. That means they stop in Hong Kong, whether it's a turnaround or home port or port of call. So for people who are interested in cruising, and there are a lot of choices for them as well. So we have been rebounding from there. Some of the familiar cruise line is like Holland America, Celebrity, the Royal Caribbean, Silver Seas, if you're into the luxury market, the Viking, the region. So it's a lot of choices. Don't forget that.
Okay. Well, again, I was going to come to that near the end of the chat. So we're there now. So it's a cruise destination, which means also Goway can help with your clients' any shore excursions in combination with a cruise that's calling in there, or we can do pre or post with if your clients are starting, because we have many cruise agents out there who deal specifically with those cruise lines that Linda mentioned, and Goway can assist with pre, post, and shore excursions. Plus, as Linda alluded to, there's lots of harbour cruising as well for people on a land-only type trip. Now, the other classic or iconic site to me and memory to me is the cable car. Now, I can't remember the name. So the famous cable car that runs from, I guess, street level up to the top of a mountain, and I forgot the name. So if either of you could enlighten me and our audience on the name of the cable car and the mountain.
Yeah, Clark, over to you.
Yeah, I think you're referring to the Onping 360 cable car.
No, I think he is talking about the tram,
sorry,
the peak tram.
Yeah, the tram. So,
the tram. Okay.
My bad. That was, I'm thinking, I'm using cable car on the wrong. Okay. Yeah, the cog railway or the tram. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a peak tram, so you can hop on at Central, and then all the way pick you up to the peak in Hong Kong. So to the for
the peak tram will take you from Central to mid-level, and it takes about 13 to 15 minutes to go up to the Victoria Peak. When you're there, there is the Peak Tower with restaurants and shopping. But another wonderful thing you can do when you're on the peak is to walk around. There's one walkway. It takes about an hour, and on there is very quiet, it's very serene, but you can have absolutely 360-degree view of Hong Kong. From the city all the way to the back to the south, you look at the South China Sea. And from there, you see little islands popping up here and there. So because you're walking around, that is the 360-degree view of Hong Kong.
Oh, very nice. Okay, so that's the main attraction to get up there for that view of all of Hong Kong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, on that note, we mentioned there's, I think you said 200 plus islands in the Hong Kong region. There's the two big islands, Lantau and Hong Kong Island, then the mainland new territories. So roughly how much landmass does Hong Kong take up in square kilometres or miles?
We have the total territory is about 425 square miles and 1,100 square kilometre. So Hong Kong is small, it's tiny.
Yeah, I guess that's my point.
Everything builds up because it's so small.
Yes.
We don't have the flatland, and that's why it's all this high rise. And talking about going to the peak and add the high rise to it, I would highly recommend that if you have time, go there in the evening, just around sunset, so you can still enjoy the sunset, which is wonderful. But then when it turned dark, you see the lights from the buildings underneath you in Hong Kong and in Kowloon. It's like diamonds underneath you. It's just I can never get over that. It's so beautiful. You have to be there to experience it yourself.
Okay, so there you go, everyone. There's an expert tip. Take the cable, or not, sorry, I keep using the term cable car. Take the tram to the top Victoria Peak, around sunset, so you get the sunsets, and then you get the magic of the lights turning on. So back to the size of the region, which you mentioned is small. What's the population of Hong Kong?
It's around 7.2.
So a lot of people. So again, and that leads to my question: when you're visiting Hong Kong, it's going to be crowded, I think, just because of the local populace. But is there a high season, low season to visit Hong Kong?
Clark, any insight?
For high season will be during summer, and low season will usually in November and like after the Chinese New Year, like around March, April. Yeah.
Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, is Hong Kong below the equator?
Below, I think it's...
No, we are above.
Slightly above.
We have subtropical weather. So Jakarta, Singapore, Indonesia, Singapore, they are close to the equator. So we are north of them. So we are in the subtropical weather. And also I agree with Clark that basically it's now there's really not no peak season or low season anymore. It all depends on the airfare and the capacity, right? But what he mentioned is about fall or beginning of the year. That is really the best time. A lot of times the airfare that is called the shoulder season is more affordable. But then during that particular time, the weather is much better because it can be hot and humid during summertime until like October, November. It will cool off and less humidity all through until February, March. So weather-wise, it's really lovely weather. And then also it's very festive during that time too, because we have the whole lineup of special events and festivals during then, like the Wine and Dine Festival, the Christmas time with all the giant greeting cards on the building. It's just make you happy, very festive. And then followed by the Chinese New Year. And Chinese New Year, we celebrate for the whole 2 weeks. So it's not a one-day event. It's a 2-week-long event. So during that time, you really have a taste of all the festivity and the multicultural, which is so unique for Hong Kong. We have the Western part, we celebrate, but at the same time, we still have the Chinese tradition, like the Chinese New Year's and things like that. So I think they can fully utilize it. And then for people who are interested to go on cruising, it's also the peak time for cruising from November all the way to April and May. That is, most of the cruise line will come to Hong Kong. So just a lot of things to do.
Okay, so again, just for our listeners, as we established, Hong Kong's above the equator. So when we're talking summer, winter, we're talking the same time frame as North America from a planning point of view. So Clark mentioned getting to and from the airport is very, very easy, be it with a Goway arranged private transfer or the train or the bus. In general, obviously walking around downtown Hong Kong, etc., is an option, which is recommended. But if you wanted to explore wider into the new territories or other areas like that, connecting the islands, Linda mentioned ferries, but in general, what's the easiest, best way to get around the greater Hong Kong?
Clark, you can go ahead talk about the local transportation.
Yeah, so apart from train or bus, we also have what we call minibus. So minibus can take us to like further far location like Sai Kung. If you want to visit Sai Kung, you can take a minibus. So minibus is basically a van with like 16 or 18 seats. And then they would like to like point to point, like you can hop on in Central or Causeway Bay, and then take within 1 hour, and then you all the way to Sai Kung.
Okay.
Yeah. So and apart from minibus, you can also take our taxi, because taxi in Hong Kong is I think the taxi fare is kind of reasonable in Hong Kong, so, and it's very convenient, so taxis are everywhere. So I usually take taxi to some places where the public transportation can reach.
Okay. Can you rent cars and self-drive? Is it easy, safe to drive around the greater Hong Kong? Again, back to signage and general road conditions?
Yes. Self-driving is very convenient and easy. But just a reminder, is it like New York downtown, Toronto now downtown? In Hong Kong downtown central will be so jam.
Well, it's not only the traffic. The parking can be a big issue. Just because the public transportation is widely available and convenient, and literally they can really take you everywhere. And I think we miss out on talking about the subway system in Hong Kong.
There we go.
The whole city is connected by different lines. So from New Territory going to town, or from the east to the west, is so convenient. It's fast as well. And taxi is also very available. And I always take Uber. I just find it very convenient. In Hong Kong, the beauty of it is that the Uber partner up with the taxi. So a lot of time, I don't like to take taxi, because if you're caught in the traffic and in the meter is jumping, my heart jumps with it, right?
Yeah, it jumps with it, yes.
But then if you're on an Uber, even on the taxi, they charge you this fare that is prearranged. So
Yeah,
I think
agreed.
this is easier. It's much better to arrange it this way.
Yeah, and that's obviously, I think, why Uber became so successful because of that reason alone. So on that note, what is the currency to be used in Hong Kong?
It's Hong Kong dollars. For
Hong Kong.
US, $1 is about 7.8 Hong Kong dollars. And what is the exchange rate for Canada?
Should be around $1 Canadian to 5.7 Hong Kong dollar.
Okay, so ballparking at 7-1 for US, 5-1 for Canadian. I would assume, being a very modern area, city, that credit cards are used everywhere, Ubers, taxis, etc. Yep. Okay.
And then another reminder, that in Hong Kong we have something called the octopus card. It's a debit card. And mainly you use it on the public transportation. So when you go through, you just charge it, right? If you use up the money, you can just go to the station or any facility, even the 7-Eleven, the stores, they can recharge it for you. So I think that, and a lot of times you can use it as a debit card when you go shopping, when you go to grocery shoppings and things like that, you can also use it as well. So one more convenient currency for you.
Okay. Now, Clark mentioned earlier that the region is tax-free. So in general, if we're taking away just going there to shop, is Hong Kong an expensive destination compared to its neighbours?
If you're looking for the luxury brand, I think in Asia, Hong Kong is I think is fairly priced, so it won't be expensive or more expensive than the other countries around, since it's tax-free, and we are the international hub in Asia, so many import and export happening in Hong Kong. So I think for luxury brands or luxury goods, you will see a better deal in Hong Kong for sure.
Okay. So we touched on before in respect to religion, which relates to culture. So culturally, how different is Hong Kong to, say, its neighbours, China, Vietnam, Philippines, etc.? So if you, again, because Clark and Linda have both mentioned that Hong Kong is a hub for the Asia region, so not only combining China with Hong Kong, combining some of the other countries in the region with Hong Kong would make sense. So from a cultural difference, what would be the difference, say, from Vietnam to Hong Kong or Philippines or even China itself?
And I think each country has their own unique culture. For Hong Kong, it's more because we have been a British colony for over 150 years. So it's the East meets West that blend in together in our daily life that make us unique, right? And then from other country, they are such a short distance away. We can always that is where we want to do, and Goway has been putting together programs that is Hong Kong plus other destinations.
Yeah.
So the whole point is you can experience as much as possible because it's a long haul destination. You fly 15, 16 hours over there, and I don't suggest that you just stay in Hong Kong for 5 days of the whole duration of your trip. Go see other things. See, like we love to work with Thailand or even the Philippines because they are surrounded by water, a lot of water activities. But for Hong Kong, it's more a cosmopolitan city, so that is a very good combination. So I think the whole way of talking about the uniqueness of each destination is about their own culture. Okay.
Now, you mentioned the British influence, and from an events point of view, I'm a rugby fan. I'm a rugby coach, so I know one of the biggest rugby events in the world takes place in Hong Kong. It's the Hong Kong Rugby Sevens.
We're here in the legendary South Stand of Hong Kong Stadium, the most debaucherous place in the rugby world, I think it's fair to say. The rugby's going on in front of me, but I don't think anyone's even paying attention. The real action is right behind me. We got costumes, we got alcohol, we got fun, we got laughter. Everyone's having a good time.
So what other big cultural sporting events does Hong Kong lay claim to?
Take it over, Clark.
Yeah, I'm a sport person. So apart from the rugby sevens, we have other world-class sport events like the cyclothons, which is for like a bicycle race, and then we have the marathon. We have the E1 boat race, and we have also the Hong Kong Open, the ATP Tour, etc.
Okay. So for those who may or may not know, Goway has a very large groups department. So with some of these big events in Hong Kong, there's great opportunities to send groups down to Hong Kong to, tap into the rugby sevens, which is getting great coverage with the current Olympics going on. The Canadian women, silver medal, plus other big events. So, but in general, I'm assuming the answer to this is yes, but I'll ask it. Hong Kong would be a great destination for any big corporate events as well, group size events. I'm sure you have the capacity and all the venues to deal with that.
Yes.
So if you're looking for like a blitzcation, right? So in Hong Kong, it's actually a famous destination for company doers any MICE activities here.
Okay.
So I can give you some example, like one second. Like if there's some local operators in Hong Kong can arrange if you're looking for like a homestay visits or home visits for visitor experience Hong Kong, like what's that called? Like a business like you work from other country, but you work in other country, but like I'm still working for a company in Canada, but I'm actually located in Hong Kong. So
I'm not sure if there was a word.
Some of the operators in Hong Kong arrange the homestays or home visits where visitors can experience what's like living in Hong Kong with the locals.
That was actually my next question. Can you do that? And you've just answered that question. So not only can you stay with a local family in Hong Kong to experience that, if you are looking for an extended stay in Hong Kong for business, for otherwise, there are opportunities to stay with families as well, correct?
You can, and then there are a lot of service apartments available in Hong Kong as well, especially for those people who are doing business. I think they want to have their own private apartment but staying for a longer time. So it's widely available. It's getting more and more because working away from your home, the home office or at your original location has changed. I think after COVID, everything's changed. So you can still overseas but work the hours full time. So if they want some kind of living arrangement with service apartment, there are widely available. A lot of hotels, they do have a part of the hotel that is carved out for service apartment.
For apartments,
rental.
Yeah. So Goway has long stays pretty much everywhere in the world, so obviously Hong Kong has that opportunity as well if someone's going for work or even to spend an extended period of time and eat at the 17,000 restaurants. You can get an apartment and just you can stumble home every night after your meal. You mentioned, Linda, that when you look at the region, Hong Kong is more the cosmopolitan city experience environment, whereas you could then add Vietnam and Thailand for beach and other historical or cultural aspects of it as well. But I've got probably one of my best friends. He's living in Singapore at the moment on a work exchange type situation as well, just on the note we were discussing there. And he is out almost every single day, well, not every day, every weekend, riding a bike around Singapore, exploring, etc. So I would assume that adventure and outdoor activities in and around Hong Kong are available as well?
They do. Especially biking or like exploring the outdoors, bringing a lot of the outdoor activities. And it's so close to the city, there's really no boundary that is so far away. with the public transportation, even going to the outdoor, it takes less than an hour. By
Right.
ferry, by subway, and you can take your bike to go to the outskirts of town, so you can enjoy fresh air, less people, and then it's such a good hobby for people as well.
Now, is Hong Kong, well, is Hong Kong region hilly, or is it flat, or is it a combination of both?
I would say half and half. When
Half and half?
you Hong Kong, Kowloon itself is more like a flatland. It's flatter, right? And then Hong Kong Island is built on the hill, so it can be hilly, right? I think that is the biggest difference between Hong Kong and Kowloon. And in the past, before the Kai Tak Airport was moved to Lantau Island, the area of Kowloon is relatively lower, and the buildings are lower and flatter. It's more like a flatland because they have to have they cannot have the height to affect the flights coming in, taking off and landing, right? But ever since they move out to the island, you can see the skyline of Kowloon has changed so much. Not only that, we have the whole new West Kowloon Cultural District, which is a reclaimed land.
Okay, so on that note, if you take the cable car up to Victoria Peak, can you take a bike up and ride down, or can you take the cable car up and if you wanted to walk back down into
Definitely, you can walk, or you can take a bus down as well, so you can experience it different way.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, it's walkable.
Okay,
it's totally walkable, right? You can walk to the south part
Okay.
of Hong Kong Island as well.
Okay, so again, walk down, we suggest. Cable car up, walk, or bike, or bus down. I wouldn't. Well, you can walk up if you're really keen. If you want to be adventurous. So I think we've covered all the big things that someone's going to ask about Hong Kong if they've never been before, or like myself, hasn't been in a long, long time. Is there anything else either of you would like to highlight? Are there any upcoming events? Again, we touched on some of the big ones that come back, the sevens and whatnot, the rugby sevens. But is there anything that's coming down the pipe for Hong Kong this year or sometime in 2025?
And we have a whole year of special events and festival, as I mentioned. And I think Clark will have a lot of information about those events, what's coming up to share with you. Over to you.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the highlights happening this year will be the Hong Kong Wine and Dine Festival, which will be happening in October, late October. It should be on the 23rd to 27th in October.
Okay.
So it's organized in Central Harbourfront area. So it is a big event that will get a wide range of wine from every regions, like from France, from some we call the New World, like Italy, Argentina, etc. And also we can enjoy the culinary experience here. So it should be like a big event happening in Hong Kong. And I'm sure, I think in Canada, there will be some tour to this event, especially tour designed for this event. But I'm not sure in the States right now.
Okay. So anyone out there, we being Goway, can customize a trip around that event. More than likely, if it is a big event, which Clark is alluding to, then Linda, our product manager for Asia, I'm sure will build an itinerary, both for Canadians and US, to tap into that. On that point, does Hong Kong have its own wine? Is it a wine region?
No. Hong Kong is not.
Okay.
Once upon a time, they have a very small winery, and but I don't know whether they are still there or not. But
I do remember Hong Kong having good beer.
really,
Oh,
No?
I think we have local beer.
Beer?
We
No.
have some IPA.
I'm
I
not
guess.
in that scenery.
Oh, okay. Maybe my millennial memory is letting me down on that one. I thought they did, but I'm sure there's good choices in there regardless, be it local or imported. So again, is there anything else you'd like to touch on
I
before we
would
wrap
like
up?
to just summarize because we've been talking for quite a while and jumping here and there. So I just want to summarize what are the key thing about Hong Kong when you think of trying to decide on going to a destination or make recommendation for your clients. I think to keep it very simple, the art and culture of Hong Kong is so fulfilling. The art, we have different art festival. The month of March is Hong Kong Arts Month. And with the West Kowloon Cultural District, we have 2 new museums right there. One is the M+, which is a contemporary visual art museum. About 5 minutes walking distance from it is the Hong Kong Palace Museum. So most of the exhibits are on loan from the Palace Museum from Beijing. They never loan it out to anybody, but they really want to support Hong Kong, so they loaned it out to Hong Kong. And about every 3 to 6 months, they will change it. It's really fun. It's a fun time. I go there every time I go there. I will spend a few hours over there, and the view is spectacular. And then we have the Sichu Center also in the area, which is dedicated to performing arts. Specifically, is the Chinese opera. It's beautiful, stunning architecture. And other than that, we have the Hong Kong Arts Festival, and we have a different art gallery and different kind of museums. So those are the art. And then the festival, of course, the Chinese New Year, Mid-Autumn festivals, and the Dragon Boat Festival. These are all the festivals. And the second thing is the culinary and the bars. So we talk about it a lot already. We have 79 Michelin star restaurants in Hong Kong, and we have the number 1 bars in Asia. So enough for everybody to enjoy and make their stomach happy. And then the last thing is really the great outdoors. So don't think of Hong Kong as a concrete jungle. We are more than that. There are so many places to go, all the islands, all the hiking trails outdoor, and it's easy to get there. I think the whole point is you don't need to spend half a day just to get there. You go there in an hour, you can enjoy. And when you're in the island, don't forget the seafood. The live seafood over there is to die for.
Of course.
That's my favorite.
There you go. So I think Linda has just done a fantastic job, and this is what she does for a living, so she's very good at it, of basically giving us a summary of what Hong Kong can offer. So again, I'll just basically finish off by it's a cosmopolitan yet cultural destination. It's a hub for Asia, so a great city region to use in combination with China itself, Vietnam, Thailand, the Philippines, and even beyond if you're heading to or from Australia. That's a great stopover to or from Australia or New Zealand into Hong Kong. And really, it's a small area, as we've discussed, but as you can hear by Linda's summary there, it's got so much packed into a small space. It's a long way to get there, but it's easy to get there. So many direct flights, which is rare for a lot of the Asian destinations. A lot of them are stopovers somewhere else, so that's a big plus as well. So on that note, I'd like to thank Linda and Clark for their time today, giving us perspective. We probably didn't really highlight so much the old and the new, but definitely Hong Kong is old. Hong Kong is new. One of the fastest growing regions in the region, Asian region, and definitely worth considering if you're heading down to see anywhere southern, even though it's north of the equator. Let's generalize and say heading southern hemisphere wise, Hong Kong should be part of your itinerary planning because it's a great little stopover, and even for an extended stay, as we discussed, for any long stays or business people down there, or groups for that matter. So again, thank you, Linda, for your time. Thank you, Clark, for your time. And we will talk to you all again very, very shortly.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Don.
everyone.
Thank you.